I love that we both had a thing that we were doing this time to get started. I was doing finger guns.
Actually,
We were doing whatever that was.
energy. I'm like writing notes as I'm thinking of other things. I'm like, oh wait, there's that too.
Before we get started, just FYI, we have some construction going on, so if you hear loud noises coming through, my bad. Nothing I can really do about that.
Yes.
Zoom does a much better job of dampening the audio.
But we are super excited for the changes, and I think we should like give a tour when everything.
We talked about this last week. We are not giving people the layout of our home. Not happening.
Okay, fine. That's true.
Sorry, guys. Shutting that down. Just know it's going to be beautiful, and that's all you need to know.
Fine. Whatever.
We're not Tic-Tac influencers, okay? Yeah, I called it Tic-Tac. I'm aware.
Hello, everybody. I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching. Welcome to Moment of Presence with Michelle and
Krista. And actually, why are we backwards?
I know. I was like, wait, I usually go this way.
I have no idea. That was weird. I fixed it. Anyway, thanks for joining us today, guys.
It's musical screams.
It's musical videos. Today, we're talking about how to feed your gift. And I feel like some people look at that and be like, well, what are they talking about?
What do you mean?
We're talking about the Clairs today.
Like Christmas gifts?
No, actually, it's funny. When I was setting this up, I thought to myself, I was going to put in the description, no, this does not mean when you get your kid a dog for Christmas and you have to feed him through the box or something. I don't know that everyone's going to get that, so.
Well, and when I looked at it and I was like, feed your gifts, I was like, the thing that came to my mind was you can feed, like, what wolf are you feeding? Like, because I love that story. Like, what are you feeding? Are you feeding your gifts, or are you feeding where you're stuck? Haha.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're going to go through just a little bit of everything. There's a lot to cover. We're not going to cover everything today. And we don't know everything, but we can tell you what we're going to talk about is the gifts that we've uncovered within ourselves. And I think that talking about how we feed our own gifts, how we grow and expand our own gifts, utilizing them, I think, and how do we apply them to our everyday, I think is the direction where that would be most helpful. And if you have questions, if you would like to share what gifts you have or what you think, and ask questions, go for it. Like, we're all in this together.
Totally. Yeah, I'm excited about this one because even just, we were doing a little pre-research before this because, again, we don't know everything, but we definitely have a lot of experience with a lot of these, and that's what's so interesting is when you read some of this, just getting clear on like, oh, so that's the actual terminology for that thing that's been happening, my entire life. So, yeah, is there anywhere you want to kick off?
We could talk about discovering gifts. I think we should start with that. Like, how do you even discover that you have gifts?
Well, I think we need to first talk about what the heck what gifts we're talking about.
Well, that's what I mean. So the first time I ever heard of gift, like, everyone's heard of gifts, right? We've all watched movies, The Sixth Sense, I See Dead People. We've lived in a haunted house. We've had to.
Okay, hold on. You're saying this. We've given the most wild examples of all of this. We lived in a haunted house. That makes it sound like we live off of where did Michael Myers live? Wherever that town, Amityville Horror House. We live in a haunted house. Okay.
My point of that
was our credibility right down the toilet.
My point of that was, if we didn't have a team that came out to help us with what was happening in our house, we wouldn't have unlocked or understood what gifts we had, and that's how we discovered a lot.
I think it would have been a different timeline, but sure, that was the timeline that we were on. But I think we were very clear for a very long time that we probably all had some sensitivities. I don't like that angle. Please turn it back up. It cuts your head off. It's weird. But, the gifts, so you said, um, just you use the sixth sense as an example. Not a bad one, though maybe a little bit extreme, with a great, great bamboozle at the end. Um, yeah, we lived in a haunted house. Better said, we lived in a house that had some paranormal activity, that had some
Yes.
presences. Actually, both houses we've lived
Yeah.
in had presences, but that, leading right into the conversation, probably has more to do with our sensitivities than the average person.
Right.
Um, when was the first time that you feel like you noticed some of your gifts?
Knowing what the gifts are now and then looking back, I would say that there were things that I picked up on as a kid but didn't understand them.
Okay,
As
interesting.
far as picking up on energy, picking up on like reading a room and being able to uh, shift my energy or how I approached a situation. I used to think, and just this cracks me up because I know you enough to know you're going to go like, oh my god.
Great.
There's political spinners, right? Like spin, spinners where they take a story and you spin the story. Well, I used to consider I would be able to take a story and I would be able to spin it, or take a situation and spin it. And I never really understood that before until I learned about alchemy and going, oh, so I can take a situation and look at it and go, what am I learning from this? What am I gaining from this? And spin it so that I'm flipping the script so it's something positive, not something negative. And while that might be a gift, a talent, a practice,
I feel like that goes more into like intuitive talent, like
yeah,
something you naturally know how to do. I don't know that I would, at least for our conversation and focusing on like the clairs. I guess that might go into maybe claircognizance a little bit.
yes,
I guess.
because when I talk to people, I can hear what I can sense what they're not saying.
Hmm.
Not hear what they're not saying, but I can sense what they're not saying, and I can
Uh,
feel into the energy in the story.
so that would fall into.
I would say some clairsentience,
Yeah,
because that would be the
yeah,
collective
yeah.
energy
That would
in
be
the
like the
room.
intuition, gut feeling, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely use that a lot during my cancer treatment when I was younger. Because I mean, they even say mothers definitely use this because their energy is
Hmm.
so tied so closely to their children. Um, for me, it definitely was along the same lines, but my gifts were always such a point of frustration growing up because there's so many people who I'd be like, what's wrong, what's going on, what's changed, what's different, whatever. And so I, being a wonderful, loving kid, always wanted to be helpful and, what can I do to be helpful? What's wrong? What's going on? And 90% of the time, nothing. What are you talking about? I'm fine. What are you talking about? Whether
Mm.
that was my peers who weren't emotionally advanced enough to be honest, or adults who felt I wasn't emotionally adult enough or mature enough to handle things that were going on, even though I probably was, just giving my history. But nonetheless, that was such a point of frustration for me growing up because I knew certain
Hmm.
things, but then everyone around me essentially would, to quote the new hot phrase of these days, everyone would gaslight me. And what that did though was it forced me to either A, deny my own gifts, or B, get to a point where I was like, F all y'all, I know I'm right. I
Yeah.
know your ass is lying to me, and that's fine. So I'm gonna do whatever I feel is
Mhm.
necessary or helpful, knowing that this is how you're really feeling, but you don't want to tell me, so that's fine. And what it's done growing up and now as an adult is I've honed that in so significantly that I can tell just by the way that someone is breathing, the way they walk into a room, the way that they hold their posture. Like I can tell even just by looking at them
Mm-hmm.
what their mood is like, what their intentions are, what deep inside they're feeling, which then goes into I can look at someone and I see an image of them of like who their inner being is. So like I may see a grown man and be like, that's a little boy, and deep inside, that's a little guy. That's a little guy struggling with the world right now.
Yeah.
Same thing with a woman or a kid or whatever. That's kind of how my gifts started out, and then they just compounded from there.
And I think what's so important is to remember in this conversation is, number one, we're not special. Everybody is born with gifts. They're God's gifts, right? Whatever you believe in, but they come from a higher power. We were made in, the likeness of the higher power, so it would only make sense that we were given certain gifts. And there are those that will resist them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Most
no,
people do. Not just those. It's most people do. If you look at kids, most kids will tell you, "Oh yeah, I saw Grandma sitting on my bed last night. Grandma came in to see me. Oh, there was a little boy playing ball outside." Or as adults, like, no, that was just a dream. That was just this. That was just that. And it's literally cultivating those gifts out of the kids. That's
it's
what.
so funny because you said that, like,
Oh
when
yeah, I
you
know.
were a kid, you told me, no, there was she came, she sat on my bed and
I can
covered
see it
me
playing in
up.
my head right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, amazing. And even your brother,
Mhm.
there was a little boy that, yeah, I mean, it's the resistance, and it's putting up the wall and blocking it and believing that it's something that you shouldn't have, you don't deserve it, or a limiting belief that it's something bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's a
Yeah.
huge one, because it's other people's beliefs that are affecting
Well,
your gift.
even better said, it's other people's fear. A
Yeah.
lot of times we'll hear some of those that are very religiously fanatic will call a lot of spiritual things devilry and devil worship and this and that. Things like there's subsections of the religious fanatics that'll say meditation is devilry, that yoga is devil worship, that grounding is against God. I'm not of that belief system whatsoever. But there are some folks that do believe that. And listen, that was their own interpretation of the
Mhm.
material that was provided to them. That was their own interpretation. That was their own upbringing.
Yeah.
They're entitled to that. But if you do foster these things, they can develop into really useful and helpful traits as you get older.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're here, because I see that we have people that have joined us live, please let us know that you're here. Comment, share with us if you feel like you have a gift or you're really good at something, and you want to share. Share. But say hi. Let us know, and also don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, join us every week, share us out to your friends. Um,
What?
one of the, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, what were you going to say?
Bye.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about today that I never realized was a gift that a lot of people have or believe that they have, they label themselves, um, ADHD. It's a freaking power. It's not just a gift.
Listen, are we going to talk about the Claires? Or are we going to talk
We're
about
gonna
how
talk.
all of these things are
We're gonna talk.
actually gifts?
We're gonna talk about the Claires, definitely, but I also want to talk about that all of this together. You're a powerhouse, and so many people label, and I want to make sure that we're not adding labels to people. It's more of owning the gifts that you've been given and unwrapping them and really understanding how to utilize them in your everyday.
Hmm. Absolutely. ADHD is that, all of these neurodivergent not, I mean, I'm, that's a whole other conversation, but I truly believe that.
Okay, we'll make that its own show.
Mhm.
We'll have
What
one.
I mean is that there's just so many things that if you look at it from the medical perspective, there's something wrong with you. But
Right.
if you actually look at what it does truly, a lot of folks with neurodivergence, and this isn't a blanket statement, I'm not talking about everybody. A lot of folks with neurodivergence, especially to a certain degree, will have remarkable gifts in the sense of they're absolute savants at art or certain instruments or
Mhm.
um, presentations, design, sports, so on and so forth. And it's one of those things that it's just like that seems like more of they got a couple extra percentage points in that thing that they're good at and maybe didn't get fully developed in some other areas because all of that energy went to that other thing.
Yeah.
And you absolutely can look at it as a negative. Maybe someone's a little bit more socially awkward, but they absolutely slay on a guitar. Why
Yeah.
would you ever look down on that? That's incredible. That's remarkable. If anything, you should only be fostering, or not only, but you should really be fostering that thing that they're really, really good at. Well, yeah, developing other things, but there's so many things in life that are gifts rather than not. But our original intention for this episode was going through the Claires, which is fine. We can shift.
Let's talk
I
about the
we were
Claire.
talking about the Claires.
Okay, let's talk about the Claires.
Okay.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think we should first say that we're not talking about a person, Claire. We're talking about the Claires, which are things like clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience. What were the other ones? I have them written down.
Clairaudience,
Clairgustance, which is so
clairgustance.
wait, so clairvoyance is clear sense of vision. So that's you literally see, visions play out in your head. So whether that's vivid dreams, whether that's, you see past relatives or others that are coming to you, you see them visually. That's the key with clairvoyance. Clairgustance is you taste things that bring up memories, that bring up messages. So that might be, you may have heard someone that's like, oh, weird, um, I'm tasting something metallic, and that
Yeah.
means something to them. Or they maybe taste garlic, and that's because someone that's passed on. Maybe they have an Italian family, and someone's visiting them. So usually, it's they have some sort of taste that they're able to pick up on. Clairsalience is smell. So maybe you've smelled your grandmother's perfume that happened to you like last week. Again, smelling of garlic in the air. Maybe a past relative has passed on, is there to visit. Maybe you smell fire and it's indicative of something going on somewhere. So, like, there's a lot of different variations with that, but it's sense of smell. Clairaudience is hearing things. So, whether that's actual voices, whether that's messages, whether that's beeping and squealing or high pitched ringing, things like that. There's claircognizance. That's just a psychic insight. So that's like you just know something. Why do you know it? You don't know, but you know it and you know that it's right. And it ultimately tends to come to fruition. Yeah,
AKA your father
and me happens to
and you.
clairsentience. That's like being able to detect info. So you can read a room, like you mentioned. You just get a sense for someone. I feel like this one, I think we said, like, this one from everything we read is the most popular. And it totally makes sense. This is when someone, maybe a friend introduces you to another friend and you just know there's something about them that's off. You just get a sense that there's something weird. You don't know what it is. You can't put your finger on it, but you just know.
Well, and I want to come back to
Mhm.
to this after we go through the rest of them because
Yeah.
this one is my jam. I feel like.
Yeah. A couple more here. This says Claire empathy. I've never actually heard of this one, but this is being able to detect information through your emotions. So and this actually might be something that I have massively, but you get a sense for things that are happening. You get messages from the emotions that you're picking up on.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of this. And then there's clear tangency, which is, through touch. So you pick up a ring and you go, this was once owned by a guy named John, and he lived to 100. I mean, probably doesn't have to be quite that in depth, but the point is that it's through touch you're able to pick things up. This is actually, I feel like, a really common one, like psychics on TV and stuff, of like they'll go to a property and they'll touch an antique and they're like, I'm sensing there was a murder.
But this that's so interesting, because think about when we were at the antique show and we have this antique, I call her, what do I call her? Like grandma, mama, like,
Call her mama.
yeah. And she is in a rocking chair and it's a doll. And we had a little price tag on her. And somebody walked up and was like,
it's an antique. We purchased it. We were at an antique show selling antiques, and we had her on the shelf to be sold.
Yes, thank you. And this person came up and inquired and was trying to negotiate on Mama. And I got this absolutely not, like, loud in my head, like goosebumps, like and I was like, she's not for sale. It's just like, she's not for sale. She's ours. She's not for sale. And he was like, well, why is she here? And I was like, she oversees us. Like, she just is. She's here to oversee the booth. And we brought her home, and she has never left our home again. She is Mama, and she oversees and protects. And there's times where I can walk by and like look at her and be like, oh, something's off. Like, there seems to be like a bad mood. And then there's times where I'm like, oh, she looks really happy today. It's like she's like her face is painted. It doesn't move, but I pick up this energy from her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the clairtangency. Is it tangency or tangency?
Not tangency.
Oh, tangent.
I assume that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you know of it pronounced a different way, comment. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
You wanted to go back to clairsentience, though, right?
Well, no. Yes, I wanted to go back to clairsentience because the picking up the energy in the room, being able to feel it, like, read the room, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like it's also being able to bring your energy and shift the energy as needed in a room or in a situation.
That's a different thing. There's two different things between sensing and what you're able to put out, I think.
Okay.
They're connected, but to me, I would think, like, well, let's look up the origin of the word clair.
I mean, because to me, that's energetic alchemy, and that's what I feel I'm really good at when I tap into it. And I think that's the key, is you can have gifts, you can have whatever you want to call it, you can have these tendencies, but if you don't utilize it, if you don't tap into it, if you don't remember to use it, put it in play in a situation, then it's like getting a gift at, Christmas, your birthday, and you put it up on the shelf and then you forget about it. These are gifts that can enhance your life. They can enhance your relationships. They can just really help you inspire others, inspire yourself. And resisting them is pushing a part of yourself away. Make sense?
Yes. So the prefix clair originates from the French word clair and the Latin word claris, both meaning clear. So in the sense of like clairvoyance, the actual meaning is clear vision. So I definitely think that that's probably more of the sensing, a clear sense of something rather than outward. But I definitely think they're connected. Like, I think if you have the ability to sense these things, I think you also then probably you can develop the ability to then put that outward as well. So in the sense of like
Right.
clairsentient, you can pick up on a room, but then you can also develop the ability to send that outward and change the energy of the room as well.
Right. Well, and same with like, the outside, like the environment. Like if you're in an area and you just feel like something's off,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of listening, and you said something earlier where you were talking about picking up other people's emotions, feelings. That's like a gift of observation, but to the 10th level, like 100th level.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you can observe and you can
Mm-hmm.
understand a situation, and it all happens within seconds, because I've
Oh,
seen
milliseconds. Yeah.
I've seen you in action.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, and it's cool because I then can help other people, like if they don't have that ability, which most people don't. I don't think I've ever met anyone that can do it quite to the level that I can. But I'll even do it like with you, where I'll be sensing something, and I'll be either like I'll send you a text message, or I'll walk by and tell you something, and just be like, maybe you need to phrase it this way, or hold off on mentioning that for right now, or this person's kind of mood or whatever, just to kind of give you some insight. It's hilarious to me, because it's
Yeah.
just, but it's crazy, because here's the other thing is that if you were to look something like that up online, that's a trauma response. It's a trauma response from a traumatic childhood. It's something you should never have had. I think it's great, because it serves me in every single day of my life. Like if it's a traumatic response, great, awesome, love having it. And that's just another example of it's so much about perspectives and how we decide to look at things. There's people who, like with the clairaudience, they may be like, oh, this freaking ringing in my ear won't stop. It's so freaking annoying. Have you thought to tune in? Have you thought to ask it
I
what
was just gonna say,
the purpose of it?
get curious.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. So in my right ear, it's not ringing. It's like a swooshing sound. You look into it. It's a whole eustachian tube issue and bop, 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 bing, bop, boom, boom, boom. When I'm like at peak annoyance is when it starts to happen. It brings me to the point where I'm like, okay, what do you want? And then it goes away.
And so, do you hear what it was, what it wanted? Do you address it?
It either comes to me in the moment, or it'll come to me in like a dream, or it'll come to me later on. But the point is that I give it an audience to then let me know what it's trying to tell me.
That's another thing. That's another gift. And it's interesting because I just realized. So,
What?
as we were packing up for our renovations, I found what I now know is my great great grandmother's dream book. And everybody in the community used to come, and I remember this, used to come to my great grandmother to have her taught, interpret their dreams. They would come to her and she would read the book, she would go through it, but she wouldn't just give them the explanation from the book. She would use that as a jumping off point, and then she would add her own information into it of what she was interpreting. And I just realized you do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't need a book though.
Right. You don't even need a book. You just
That
need to
would
be told
be
what the dream is, and then you know.
that I think would either fall into, so it definitely falls into clear cognizance in some cases, but I think that's also clairvoyance.
That's
Yeah,
probably a mixture.
yeah, I think it's a mixture, because there's a lot of times people will tell me their dreams, they'll tell me their oracle or tarot card readings, whatever. I'm like, oh, this is what it means. Oh my god, how did you know that?
Just did.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And even with the hearing, because and I'll get that too, and and I know that there's like a whole, if you hear the ringing in your right ear, and if you hear a ringing in your left ear, and it means different
But I
things.
think that all has to do with the individual person. I'm very big on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think it has to do with are we coming from the divine feminine or the divine masculine? Like, who's talking? Like who's trying to get our attention, kind of thing. And so I think that that's interesting. And normally, what I'll do is, okay, I hear you, and then I'm like, okay, I'll understand it when I'm meant to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of like let it go from there. But I do take that moment to pause, and maybe that's what it's meant to do, is to force the pause.
Well, yeah, and the other piece I wanted to mention too is so much of this, just having the gift, acknowledging the gift, building the gift, growing the gift, so much of it is about trusting what you're receiving.
Right.
Which is its own thing. It's trusting that, oh yeah, this message I'm getting is actually like it's not just in my head. And the start of that oftentimes looks like I'm just going to believe that this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may say, oh, that's delusion. What's the difference between a delusion and real existence? Because as it is, no one can prove that reality is reality. Not to send anyone on a total spiral today, but like there's no science that can prove that what we're experiencing is not someone's hallucination. There's literally nothing to prove that anything is real.
Right.
So it's actually interesting because as long as you truly believe something is the truth,
mm-hmm.
it has to come to fruition. That's the law. That's the universal law of existence.
Yeah. It's my favorite law. You put it out, you're going to get it back. And that's good or bad.
Well, but it's so far beyond that, though.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yes, what you put out is what you get back, but it's what you truly believe.
Yes. And you have to have faith as well. Faith has to come into that. Not hope, faith. Very different.
Yep. And all of it, the clairs, the gift, the faith, the trust, all of it is a muscle that has to be built. You have to start from somewhere. And oftentimes that somewhere is, this is so stupid, but okay, I'll say the affirmation today. And then in a couple days, it's, yeah, actually, wow, I'm noticing that. I'm going to keep saying it. That's interesting. And then in a week, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, totally. It can be a slow burn for some people, but sometimes that starting point is, I don't know if this is true, but I'll just move forward like it is.
Right.
And then it is true. And you build that little bit of confidence. And then it happens again. I don't know, but all right, I'll trust it this time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes to fruition. You get a little bit more confidence. And then maybe you know someone that can corroborate that for you. A little bit more confidence. And then before you know it, you're like, this is what it is. This is the truth. This is how it works.
And it's fun it can be scary to share these thoughts and ideas. And I mean, I think this is the first time we've had a real open conversation about all of this, like live. But whatever. This is us. This is who we are. And I just being able to own it, accept it, be open to it. Like, there is a light in everyone. And the cracks, the things that happen in life are what happen to us, but the cracks are also what allow the light out, the gifts out. It allows a flow. If we just shut ourselves away in our little vessel that we were put into when we came to this earth, we are not allowing the flow and the energy to allow us to be who we're really meant to be. And so you can choose to embrace it and dive deeper into it and be open, or you can be closed off to it and say, no, because that's not the truth the way that I, heard it or it was taught to me. And I've been watching this woman on Instagram, and I don't remember her name. I know that she's a shaman, but she bases herself in Christianity, and she talks about, like, what do you think Jesus was doing when he was laying hands and healing people? that was Reiki, people. He was doing energy work. He was healing people with his energy and his love. That's divine intervention, and we are made in God's image, so therefore it would only make sense that we also have those gifts. And
I'm sorry,
you know,
to make it clear, I'm laughing because that's a movie quote from Couples Retreat. We're all made in God's image.
that's another one of your gifts. That's another one of your gifts.
Well, I mean, just think the people who have, eidetic memory, photographic memory, people who just have like, we know someone who is an absolute savant when it comes to sports information. They can tell you 30 years ago what the score was, who the player was, what the game went like. It's insane. That's a gift.
We know someone like that with music too, actually.
Yep. I can be like that with movie quotes. I can recite
oh my gosh,
a good chunk of movies to you right now off the bat, start to finish.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. What is your favorite gift that you've uncovered?
I think the dream one's just fun. I think it's fun. It's like a party trick half the time. It's just
the which one?
The dream interpretation, and just dream premonitions. Mm-hmm. But the dream interpretation and just like the how I can pick that up, I just think it's a fun one. I love being somewhere and being like, oh, what was your dream? Oh my God, how did you know that? That's just what I do. I just think it's fun.
It is.
The knowing, though, is the one that serves me. I mean, that kind of goes right into the dream interpretation, but just like the knowing, the cognizance, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really grateful for all of it. I love all of it, but the dream one is the fun one, the party trick, so to speak.
When I feel like our life, the whole family, like our lives changed when we started embracing and being open to the gifts and going, yeah, how can I expand on this? Like, what can I learn now? How can I utilize it to help other people? Yesterday, someone's name popped up on a list, and I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to call that person. Like, I'm going to call them. Mm-hmm. And it turned out that they were driving. They were very upset about just what was going on in their life, and we talked, and some other stuff had happened with a girlfriend, and he was in a very dark place. And after we talked and I sent him some information, I got a email today, and he was like, oh my God, like that perspective shift, like I needed that so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for that pep talk and the way that you see me versus the way he was seeing him. Mm-hmm. And it made all the difference. Yeah. And so it's just, I love getting to do that. I love having that ability to just go, how many times do I see a name, whether it's a client or, someone that's going to a discovery call, and I look at the name and I'll start singing a song or just
I was just going to say, you instinctually know either, like when you used to do sales, you'd be like, this person needs us, and you'd enroll them. Or you'd be like you just said, you see it, you hear or see it, or someone pops into your head and you're just like, I need to call them, I need to reach out. And then it was exactly what they needed at the time.
Yeah. I don't know what that's called. I think
that's the claircognizance. Well, intuition, but I think that falls into claircognizance. Like it's just a knowing. Or maybe, actually that probably would fall into the, that might fall into clairsentience, because it's also just like clairsentience. You don't have to necessarily even see someone. You sense them. Mm-hmm. You sense something with a feeling. So you don't even necessarily have to be, with them or around them. You could just think of them and be like, oh, they're in this kind of energy, or this is a message I'm getting, or there's so many variations to all of these. And I think that's the other piece that's important to mention, is like all of these things look so different per person with each person. It really is such a difference. Even just the way, like, you can totally do dream interpretations too. And it's funny because dream interpretations between the two of us, yours, ironically, is so much more technical than mine, where you'll be like, well, this says, I'm like, I don't give a shit what it says. I'm telling you that this is what it is. Or I just go based on like, this is what pops into my head. And you're like, but this, I'm like, I don't care what that says. That's one way to look at it, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you that this is what this is.
Yeah.
Um,
The other thing that I think my gift that I think is the funnest,
okay.
the one that I feel is so fun, is when I go outside and I just stand there and I what?
I say karaoke doesn't count.
Well, it's kind of like karaoke, but
Like,
it's with animals.
go ahead.
I can go out there and I can like. The other day I was thinking about a hawk because I like hawks.
Yeah, she's
And
Snow White, everybody.
what?
You're Snow White, basically.
And a hawk was in our tree. It was the most beautiful hawk, and it flew off after I kind of talked to it for a little bit. Remember, I used to feed and talk to the lizards.
I do. I can see
curly
the
tail
photo in
lizards.
my head. Mm-hmm.
We have this humongous orange iguana, and I can literally go outside and my eyes will go straight to it. Now, granted, it is this neon orange thing, but I mean, we have all of these oak trees. My eyes will go to it every single time. I can find the green iguanas in the tree so easy. I can stand in the middle of our yard, and this is how I test to see like where my energy is at. I'll stand in the yard and take a couple deep breaths, and I'll open my eyes and there'll be butterflies or dragonflies around me. And if there isn't, then I know I need to take a couple more deep breaths, and then I just bring them in.
So what do you think it means that my cat doesn't really like you? Because he doesn't really. I'm playing. He actually doesn't. She's not his favorite person. But I think it's more of just you have Aries energy, and he's used to my like super chill, kind of
Yeah.
calm, slow energy, where you're like,
In the beginning, though, he would come into my office and hang out with me for the day.
I think that we didn't hang out a lot yet, and then he was
Right.
like, "Whoa, I like this girl."
Otherwise, look around my
Oh yeah,
office
I mean
I've got all the dogs.
you've got the most rambunctious animals. I've got the chillest animals, which
That's
really probably
true.
is more indicative of who we are as people and our influence on them. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, but it's
But you
also
do have
our energy.
you have a big draw for animals. Animals always flock to you. Not that they don't like the rest of us, but you've got a connection with like reptiles and birds in particular.
Birds.
That
I was going to say like the cockatiel that I got out of the oak tree onto the ground, and then
you're literally Snow White, basically personified.
yeah. So the point is that embrace, don't resist, and practice,
Build the muscle.
tap into it. If you don't know anybody that you can talk to about it or learn about it from or with, reach out. We have connections. We have people that we can help guide you to that we trust very much if we can't help you ourselves. But it's about radical, and then I talk about this a lot, radical acceptance of yourself. That has to be number one. You have to accept all that you are, because all of you is the magic. All of you is the gift. And when you tap into it and you turn it all on and you tune in, that's where the gifts start bubbling up. That's when you start noticing and realizing just how much you have to offer, because we all have it. We just shut it down, and when you don't use it, you lose it.
True.
And you didn't even talk about your Reiki and just your healing touch, because That's another thing that you are amazing at.
Well, because that's not as much of a sensing as it is a giving.
Yeah. Well, but I always thought Reiki was the calling the energy in and letting it. You're the vessel, and it goes through
Yeah,
you.
I mean Reiki, you're a catalyst, so you're pulling in the universal light energy, and your body is a catalyst to then put that into somebody else. That's why you need A, their permission to do so, and B, you can only heal someone as much as they're interested in being healed. Where energy work, just kind of like, we'll just put energy work in a separate bucket, is a little bit more of a different thing. There's some other elements that go into that, but Reiki is very much, I'm not doing anything. I just have the techniques to be able to pull that energy in and put it into you. And then it's up to you to be able to receive that energy to be healed.
Yeah.
Where energy work is a lot more, I'm going to use the word forceful in the sense of you're inflicting changes like onto somebody. There's a little bit more involvement as far as the person, like the person doing the healing goes.
Mm-hmm.
Reiki is very much, even though I was about to say Reiki is very hands off, which is ironic because typically with Reiki, you either put your hand on someone or hover above. It just depends on your style and your connection. For me, I get more of an energy just hovering above somebody rather than actually touching them, which is very interesting. But
And
yeah.
my energy work is more, I gather the energy from like the elements,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can send it out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, I don't have to physically touch or even talk to the person. I have to get their permission though.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be permission.
Yeah, I mean, with anything, there has to be permission. Otherwise, I mean, it's not that it's a waste of time, but it's a waste of time.
Well, it's also, you can't insinuate yourself on someone else. It's just it's unethical is the bottom line.
When it comes to energy work, just to be clear, guys, pray away.
Yeah, pray away. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
before we go into other conversations that are going to take us way above 45 minutes, which we're at right now, why don't we do a couple deep breaths? Guide us.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's shift our own energy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some deep breaths. We're going to hold at the top. And then I want you just to relax and just imagine whether you want light or the calm, focus, whatever is your intention for your day, for the rest of your day. Just let it, just see it coming down and landing in your heart as you're exhaling. Just let it go in through your heart and out. Okay. So big deep breath in, and then hold it, and then let it sink. Your intention sink into your heart. Exhale out. And then another deep breath in, and hold. You can exhale out. You can even see it going all the way into the ground so that you ground yourself. This is a great grounding practice. And sometimes when you want to draw the energy in, whether it's from above or the ground, you can bring in the energy of the earth, Mother Gaia, and take a deep breath in. Imagine it coming up from your feet, and hold. And then just a nice calm exhale. Maybe we'll talk about color next time with the chakras and bringing that
fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. So where can people find you?
Sorry about that.
As I say, where can people find you? And you like disappear.
My brain went to put your website on the little bottom thing, but I accidentally clicked the outro video and then realized it as I was clicking it. My brain like went into hyperspeed. You guys can find me, wherever I am. Just search Krista Barone. I'm on all the different social medias.
You can find me anywhere on social media under Moksha Grace, and you can book a call. We can talk. We can chat. I am starting a new book. If anyone wants to join me in reading a book together and like kind of a book club type situation, let me know because I am having a lot of fun reading books in a book club. We can start our own book club. But you can definitely book a call, mokshagrace.com /coaching, and we can talk about what's going on and what is it that you feel that you would like, help with, guidance with, uh, just just a chat, just a chat.
On that note, we'll see you next week, guys. Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Uh, and you can have a good day or a bad day. It is all up to you. You are in control of that. So choose wisely. See ya.